Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. We are going to go ahead and get started. My name is Chantel Shorter, the principal of JMT, and I'm here with Christine Connolly, the vice principal of JMT. We are honored to be here with you this evening. Before the evening officially begins, we want to take this time to briefly go over a few items.
First and foremost, we ask that you please silence your cell phones at this time. Secondly, we also ask that you please refrain from standing when the students are walking in order to ensure that the students remain clearly visible to their loved ones. Lastly, as you may have already noticed, we have 2 tables set up near the playground. These tables are for special awards and for the diplomas for our virtual students. Many of the special awards include a monetary gift, and Mrs. Law will be at that table to distribute those awards at the end of the evening. At the conclusion of our ceremony, families can reunite with their child on the blacktop to congratulate them on their 2021 promotion. Any students who earned a special award and any virtual students will report to their designated table after promotion. All in-person students will be handed their diplomas and any other awards by their teachers tomorrow in school. If your child completed a silhouette, his or her silhouette will be sent home after school tomorrow or Thursday.
Sorry, it's a little bit windy. So again, thank you for your participation in this celebratory occasion. We want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the ceremony that we weren't quite sure if we were going to be able to have or not, considering all things, but here we are, so take it all in. They look wonderful. They may tell you something later about us making them sit and stand several times, like a squat exercise, and just getting a little workout in. That may or may not be true, but they look phenomenal. We are going to begin our night with Mr. Julian Rivera, one of our magnificent sixth grade students. Take your time. There's a little injury. Good job. And the flag, you moved it. It's over there now.
Good evening and welcome to our annual sixth grade promotion. My name is Julian Rivera and it is my honor to welcome you to tonight's ceremony. Please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing as our band leads us in the Star-Spangled Banner. Guests may be seated at the conclusion of the song.
While we wait for the band students to get to their seats, why don't we give them a round of applause? Great job. This is probably where Mr. Miles would come up with some sort of joke or something. I don't have one. Some of his are funny. I could probably come up with a riddle that would embarrass the students and myself, so I'll just leave it alone. I do have a few, and I'm going to hold back. Thank you, students. You may be seated. Parents, grandparents, siblings, all family members, former teachers, current teachers, all staff members, and friends who are all part of the village of making this night possible. Let me reiterate what Julian already said and welcome you again to our annual sixth grade promotion. On behalf of the Board of Education, the Mantua Township School District, Superintendent Mr. Miles, the JMT staff, and the students sitting up here, it is our honor to have you with us tonight. Who would have thought that in March 2020, we would be discussing how to make sure that school stays in session and discussing are we or are we not going to have an in-person promotion? The thought never crossed our minds that we would have this pandemic and this year. Thankfully, we are starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel. In thinking about these past 15 months, I cannot help but think about our students, teachers, and all staff members and their grit and resilient approach to life. There is a quote by Chinon Chidule that makes me think of the strength needed to make it through 2021 and excel, which these students have done. Every time you try, every time your hope gets stuck and you wonder just how you'd get through the sail, don't forget that underneath your pain is an anchor of great strength and fortitude. Keep digging until you find it, and when you do, rise. I'm big into themes. Rise is one of the themes for tonight. Our theme for this year was Mission Possible. I said we may not look like Tom Cruise, who doesn't seem to age ever, but we have accomplished our mission. And our theme for tonight is Rise to the Occasion. You must be so proud of these students. They certainly have risen to the occasion and shown us that they will not get stuck by a pandemic or anything else. They will persevere, go through, around, or over any obstacles that lie ahead. While tonight is a special night and certainly one to be celebrated, it is also bittersweet. The teachers, all staff members, Mrs. Connolly and I have had the unique privilege of getting to know these students, and tonight we bid them farewell and wish them the best on the next pages of their story. It has been an honor to have been your vice principal and now your principal and see you grow and how you have grown over these last 3 years. Up to this point, the students at JMT have been boys and girls walking through the hallways and our hearts. The students in front of you tonight who are moving on from JMT are young ladies and young gentlemen. As you forge ahead through your secondary years of school and beyond, do not forget the virtues in our halls and hearts. Carry them with you and pave the way for others. Always give your best every single day. Your best will lead you to the path of no regrets and will allow you to leave an imprint on others' lives beyond measure. Stay flexible and remember that the only constant in life is change. I think you learned that lesson pretty well this year. Your strength is remarkable. Stay strong. Together, a team can do anything. Learn from these times and apply what you learned socially, emotionally, and academically through the years ahead. I personally have learned a lot as well. I'm hoping I don't ever have to apply any of the pandemic things that I learned again in my lifetime, but the lessons learned are valuable. While traveling the path of your life, enjoy it. Do not rush it. Value each day. Be kind. Treat each other as you want to be treated. Pay it forward. Show gratitude. Some of you have heard me say more than once, and I'm sure in your head you were thinking, she's so annoying. And I said, yes, I am. That means I'm doing my job. I've said triple T. And you give me that befuddled look. What does that mean? Think things through before you speak or do. Count to 10, and chances are your decision will be a good one. Apply what you've learned from your mistakes, love life, and have fun. I wish you all of the blessings that your hearts can possibly hold. Thank you for being a wonderful class and for leaving an unforgettable imprint on my heart. At this time, I would like to welcome to the podium Mr. Daniel Filona, Board of Education member, who will deliver an opening message to the class of 2021. So when you're finished, you'll just start.
Yep.
Okay. Here you go.
Thank you for that kind introduction. I am honored to have been chosen here today on what I know is a very special evening. It's special for the graduates, for their proud parents, grandparents, and for their very relieved teachers. To the graduating class of 2021, you did it. You have accomplished something that will never be forgotten. While the school year was far from normal, you have faced your fears, challenges, and worries head on. Not an easy task, if you ask me. Your hard work, determination, and grit should be acknowledged and commended. This year was not easy, but you have succeeded and are stronger for it. To the parents and guardians, whether your child was hybrid, virtual, or fully in person, congratulations. Your strength, energy, and positivity were a direct correlation to the accomplishments of your children. Without your support and commitment, their year would not have been this successful. So thank you. To the teachers, words cannot describe everything you did for your students during the pandemic. No amount of college prep could have prepared you for what you just embarked on. The students at Mantua Township are extremely fortunate to have such devoted teachers who went above and beyond while teaching through a pandemic. On behalf of myself and the Board of Ed, we applaud you for your hard work and dedication to your students. Graduates, you should know that your families are very proud of you today. They have high hopes for you and they believe in you. Take a look at them now. You can see them smiling and snapping photos so they can record this moment forever. Today would be a good day to hug them and thank them for supporting you, because as much as this is your achievement, this is also the achievement of the people who care about you. That means your mom, your dad, your stepmom, your stepdad, your grandparents, your sisters and brothers, and all the people who care about you. Today they are very proud of you. Today would be a good day to ask for money. During your 6th grade year, you probably had some good days, some bad days, and everything in between. But you did it, you persevered and succeeded. You're ready for the next adventure. It is up to you now. Make the most of everything life has to offer. Don't allow setbacks to tear you down, but instead use them as opportunities to grow and learn. It isn't what happens, because life happens to all of us, but it is rather how you respond and react to life that determines your progress. Graduation can be seen as a coming of age, a sort of official way to recognize when a person steps into the next stage of life. In September, when you begin this new stage in your education, you will start writing a new chapter of your story. I ask you, as you prepare for this next phase, to do a few things. First, stop texting your friend about how you wish the speaker would hurry up and finish talking so you can go and celebrate with your family and friends. Secondly, I ask you to take this chance to dedicate yourself to making next year even better. Know that you don't have to follow the crowd. Do the right thing, even if no one is looking. Study hard and remember that you're investing in your future with every test you take and every book you read. And finally, don't be in too big of a hurry to grow up. These are some great times in your life. Don't rush past them. Embrace them. So congratulations to all the graduates, congratulations to the parents, and finally congratulations to the teachers and everyone who helped our graduates along the way. I'll leave you with this final quote from author Ralph Waldo Emerson. What lies behind us and what lies before us are small matters compared to what lies within us. Congratulations again, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Falona. At this time, I would like to welcome to the podium Mr. Rob Miles, Superintendent of Schools in Mantua Township, who will present the Presidential Awards for Academic Excellence. As superintendent, Mr. Miles has the role of setting the vision and expectations for the district in the areas of school finance, curriculum, and management, and works alongside members of the Board of Education for the purpose of helping the district reach the highest standards of excellence for our future leaders.
Good evening. I just want to, I'll try that again. I just want to, in hearing Mr. Falona speak, I want to thank our Board of Ed. They have been so supportive. They put students first all year. So I want to thank them. I want to thank our teachers who've been so flexible as we've changed things. And I want to thank you as parents. You are the primary educators for your children. The education of life, the support you give them, and so we thank you, and we're very honored to have you with us tonight. At this time, I will announce the President's Award for Academic Excellence. Criteria for earning this prestigious award is based on the following. Students must attain all A's or all A's and 1B throughout their time in the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. Students must also attain high achievement in language arts or math on nationally normed tests or state tests. This would include the NJSLA. At some point, the students had to have attained high achievement in either math or language arts. This award represents Mantua Township's highest academic distinction, and accompanying the recognition is a certificate of achievement from the President of the United States. We kindly ask that you hold your applause until all the names are read. Thank you. I'm going to read the names, and you can stand if your name is read. Congratulations to Nathaniel Gasis, Lydia Bernardi, Stella Bernardi, David Carter, Samantha Colback, Colton Oriole. If your name is read, you can stand and stay standing. Victoria Saran, Yana Gigifas, Elle Welsh, Aiden Evans, Alexa Gildeen, Chase Roberts, Nicholas Sheehan, Brady Singh, Kevin Whitehead, Helena Homan, Gavin Duganitz, Mikhail Khan, Lily Culling, Cole Jackson, Sophia O'Mara, Ava D'Alessandro, and Leah Corelli. Congratulations, students. You may be seated.
I am much shorter than Mr. Miles. Yes, pun intended. Thank you, Mr. Miles. At this time, we will begin presenting our academic awards. Students will be given awards for performance in mathematics, science, and social studies by the teacher or teachers who instructed them in these subjects. Students will also be given awards in reading and writing by the teacher or teachers who instructed them in those subjects. Teachers will give 2 awards for each subject area, 1 for their homeroom and 1 for their partner teacher's homeroom. The criteria for the selection of these awards will involve a variety of factors, such as overall academic performance, as well as class participation, effort, and positivity. In addition, the Rising Star Award will be given to those students who demonstrated a significant improvement in their academic performance, class participation, effort, and positivity in all subjects or a given subject. Each teacher will present 1 Rising Star Award to a student in his or her homeroom. Due to the fact that each teacher will be giving a handful of academic awards, we kindly ask that you hold your applause until all of the awards for a given class are presented. I would now like to introduce Ms. Gray and Mrs. Cartwright, who will begin with the students in their class.
I am proud to present the academic awards for my class. My reading awards are awarded to Stella Ace and Leah Corelli. My writing awards, Sophia O'Mara and Ava D'Alessandro. And my Rising Star Award is to Juliana Melton.
The next Rising Star Award goes to Sean Carvalho. Congratulations. You may be seated. I would now like to welcome to the podium Ms. Miner to present the academic awards to her students.
My math awards go to Luke Bogert and Peyton Lister. Science awards for Cameron Fry and Grace Sori. Social studies awards for Mariah Barnes and Evan Ace. And the rising star is Alani Lemons. Congratulations. You may be seated. I would now like to welcome to the podium Ms. Police to present the academic awards to her students.
I am very honored to present my academic awards. My math awards go to Yana Gigifas and Aiden Evans. My science awards go to Stella Bernardi and Kevin Whitehead. My social studies awards go to Victoria Saran and Brady Singh. And my Rising Star Award goes to Summer Schaefer. Congratulations. You may be seated. At this time, I would like to welcome to the podium Mrs. Camerata, who is filling in for Mrs. King. She will be presenting the academic awards to Mrs. King's class.
On behalf of Ms. King and myself, we would like to honor the academic awards in reading to Jordan Ahn and Lydia Bernardi, the writing awards to Alexa Gildine and Elle Welsh, and our Rising Star Award goes to Nora Clace. Congratulations. You may now be seated. I would now like to welcome to the podium Mrs. Schmidt and Mrs. Kammerer to present the awards to their students.
I am honored to present our Rising Star Awards to Emma Byrne and Robert Diedrichson. Congratulations. You may now be seated. I would now like to welcome to the podium Dr. Johnson to present the academic awards to his students.
I am honored to present the awards in reading and writing. In reading to Jeanette Lamacour and Catherine Coulter. In writing, Blake Pigeon and Alexandria Saran, and Rising Stars, Madeline George. Congratulations, you guys may be seated. I would like to now welcome to the podium Mrs. Amwick to present the academic awards to her students.
Good evening. It's such a pleasure to introduce the academic awards for my class. Our math awards go to Hayden Berger and Cole Jackson. Our science awards go to Sophia Mejia and Sophia Melfi. Our social studies awards go to Nicholas Gargani and Cameron Coyne. And our rising star is Vivian Palladino. Congratulations. You may be seated. I would now like to welcome to the podium Mr. Shetley and Mrs. Tecrane to present the academic awards to their students.
Good evening. It's our pleasure to give these awards to our students. For math, Harrison Byrne and Nathaniel Gassis. For science, Sarah Aber and Chloe Stites. For social studies, William Finn and Connor Downton. And our rising star is Wyatt Turk. Congratulations, students. You may be seated. We would now like to welcome Mrs. Gill and Mrs. Hughes to present their academic awards.
We are very proud to announce our ELA Academic Award winners for reading, Liliana Hadife and Violet Lavalle. For writing, Justin Russo and Trent Weaver. And our rising star goes to Olivia Wessel. Congratulations. You may be seated. I would like to welcome to the podium Mrs. Moyer and Mrs. Croach to present the academic awards to their students.
Good evening. We are very proud to announce our ELA and Rising Star Awards. Our reading awards go to Allison Slaughter and Isla Mano. Our writing awards go to Keely Stallings and Elizabeth Trackman.
And our Rising Star Awards go to Sire Cooper Campbell and Emily Cummings. We are so very proud of you and all of your hard work. Keep shining in middle school. Congratulations, you may now be seated. I would now like to welcome Mrs. Crispin to the podium to present the academic awards to her students.
I am proud to present my academic awards. For math, Olivia Polk and Chase Duran. Science, Ava Abate and Brian Shaw. Social Studies, Lillian Heyman and Ethan Bartolucci. And our rising star, Isabella Polk. Congratulations. You may now be seated. I would now like to welcome to the podium Mr. Collins and Mrs. Heckert to present the academic awards to their students.
Good evening. It is our honor and privilege to present our academic awards to our class. Reading, Julia Revak, who I had the privilege of teaching in 5th and 6th grade. Writing, Helena Holman, and I'm gonna cry, and Rising Star, DeAndre Champ Michael.
Our math award goes to Lily Culling, science, Gavin Duganitz, and social studies, Ava Wilzinski. Congratulations, you may now be seated. I would like to welcome Mrs. Shorter back to the podium.
Let's give them one more round of applause. Congratulations again. We will now move on to the presentation of our special awards. These awards are sponsored by various individuals, families, and organizations within the Mantua community and have a long-standing tradition in our promotion ceremony. I would now like to welcome to the podium Mrs. Schmidt and Mrs. Hill, Student Council co-advisors, who will present our first special award.
It is our pleasure to present this year's Student Council Awards, sponsored by the JMT Student Council. This award is given to 2 students who exhibit service to their school and community, show good sportsmanship, and are role models for their fellow peers. This year's Student Council Awards are presented to Isabella Bregler and Dylan Maas. Congratulations, Isabella and Dylan. You may be seated. We would now like to introduce Officer Wiley, School Resource Officer, who will present the next award.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to present this year's Safety Patrol Award, sponsored by the JMT Safety Patrol. The award is given to 2 students who strive to earn the respect of their fellow students by faithfully performing their duties as safety patrol, by demonstrating the qualities of good leadership, and by ensuring that others are safe and secure at school. This year's Safety Patrol Award is presented to Harrison Westcott and Addison Nadas. Congratulations, Harrison and Addison. You may be seated. I would like to welcome to the podium now Mrs. Cartwright and Mrs. Hill, co-president of the Mantua Township Education Association, who will present our next award. Correction? Sorry?
Go ahead, Mrs. Cartwright.
Surprise, just kidding. All right, where are we? It is our pleasure to present this year's Alicia Piquel Arts Award, sponsored by the Mantua Township Education Association. This award is given to a student who excels in both the visual and performing arts.
This year's Alicia Piquel Arts Award is presented to Michelle Odesami. Congratulations, Michelle. You may be seated. We would now like to introduce Mrs. Lisa Gargani, PTO President, who will present our next award.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to present this year's PTO Award, sponsored by the JMT PTO. This award is given to 2 students who exhibit school service, are well-rounded academically, possesses good citizenship traits, and displays kindness to others. This year's PTO Award is presented to Braden DeAngelis and Avery Hogue. Congratulations, Braden and Avery. You may be seated. I would now like to introduce Mrs. Stephanie Logan, Director of Special Services, who will present our next awards.
It is my pleasure to present this year's Jimmy Hallowell Award, sponsored by Susan Rees in remembrance of her son who attended Mantua Township schools. This award is given to 2 students who are caring, outgoing, full of energy, and most of all, friendly and kind to others. This year's Jimmy Hallowell Award is presented to Brianna Perry and Riley Lincoln. Congratulations, Riley and Brianna. You may be seated. I would now like to introduce Mrs. Jenny Cavalieri, Principal of Center City School, who will present our next award.
It is my pleasure to present this year's Mason Award, sponsored by the Mantua Lodge number 95. This award is given to 2 students who work hard, display good citizenship, possess leadership potential, and strive for excellence. This year's Mason Award is presented to Garrett Angelo and Eva Leone. Congratulations, Garrett and Eva. You may be seated. I would now like to introduce Mrs. Terry Labrie, Supervisor of Curriculum and Technology, who will present our next award.
It is my pleasure to present this year's Melissa Gaffney Award, sponsored by the Gaffney family in remembrance of their daughter who attended Mantua Township schools. This award is given to a student who is compassionate, outgoing, well-rounded academically, and shows a willingness to help others. This year's Melissa Gaffney Award is presented to Wyatt Donnelly. Congratulations, Wyatt. You may be seated.
I would now like to introduce Mr. Stephen Blenderman, Principal of Sewell School, who will present our next award.
It is my pleasure to present this year's Ryan Wagner Award, sponsored by the Wagner family in remembrance of their son who attended Mantua Township Schools. This award is given to a student who is well-rounded academically, participates in school and community activities, is well-liked by classmates, and displays a positive attitude. This year's Ryan Wagner Award winner is presented to Nicholas Sheehan. Congratulations, Nicholas. You may be seated. I would now like to introduce Mrs. Christine Connolly, the Vice Principal of JMT, who will present our next two awards.
It is my pleasure to present this year's Brian Pinizzato Memorial Award, sponsored by the Pinizzato family in remembrance of their son who attended Mantua Township Schools. This award is given to a student who exhibits good citizenship, is outgoing and caring, and performs well academically. This year's Brian Pinizzato Memorial Award is presented to David Carter. Congratulations, David. You may be seated. It is also my pleasure to present this year's John Ty Award, sponsored by the Mantua Township Democrats. This award is given to two students who show service to the school, work well with others, display good citizenship, and always strive to do their best. This year's John Ty Award is presented to Jace Yashemsky and Kenzie McConnell. Congratulations, Jace and Kenzie. You may be seated. I would now like to welcome back to the podium Mrs. Chantel Shorter, who will present our final special award.
It is my pleasure to present this year's Good Sportsmanship Award, sponsored by David Parecka, former Mantua Township Superintendent. This award is given to two students who display all the traits and characteristics that go along with good sportsmanship. That is, they are fair and considerate to others, play and perform by the rules, recognize and respect the strengths and improvement opportunities in others, and are good role models for their fellow peers. This year's Good Sportsmanship Award is presented to Christian Thomas and Julia Boughton. Congratulations, Christian and Julia. You may now be seated. We will now move on to the last portion of our evening, at which time the sixth grade teachers will acknowledge the promotion of students in their class. We would again kindly ask that you hold your applause until all the students in the homeroom are announced. We will now begin with Ms. Gray and Mrs. Cartwright, who will present the students in their class.
On behalf of Mrs. Tampano, Mrs. Cartwright, and myself, it is my pleasure to present our students. Grace Sori, Ella Burrow, Julia Boughton, Juliana Melton, Anila Hodges, Madeline Mostello, Evan Ace, Brianna Tress, Peyton Lister, Gabriel Schweibens, Sean Carvalho, Mia McCartney, Stella Ace, Sophia O'Mara, Damian Camerati, Matthew Fudali. Congratulations, class. You may be seated. I would now like to welcome Ms. Miner back to the podium. I am so excited to present my class. Caden Miller, Elijah Drum, Hunter Ferrari, Chase Torsha, Leah Corelli, Mariah Barnes, Ava D'Alessandro, Jace Yashemsky, Alani Lemons, Ryan Swicer, Layla Quenzel, Luke Bogart, Cameron Fry, and Isabella Bregler. Congratulations, class. You may now be seated. I would like to welcome Ms. Police and Mrs. Schmidt back to the podium.
I just feel so tall. I just want to say to my students that even though this was such an unusual year, I think it was one of the best. I'm really going to miss you. Mrs. Schmidt and I, excuse me, are pleased to present our classes. Jaden Miner, Kennedy Hudson, Summer Schaefer, Yana Gigi Foss, Emma Byrne, Victoria Saran, Colton Oriel, Grace Gentile, Anthony Marchek, Robert Diedrichson, David Carter, Stella Bernardi, Stephen Diedrichson, Elle Welsh, Samantha Kolbach, Lydia Bernardi, Harrison Westcott. Congratulations. You may be seated. Mrs. King was disappointed to be out the past 2 months, but she was relieved that she had Mrs. Camerata as her replacement. She would love to be up here announcing your names, but we are lucky to do it for her. Chase Roberts, Nicholas Sheehan, Isabella Samasisi, Nora Clace, Juliana Yeager, Alexa Gildeen, Sydney Erico, Madeline Key, Benjamin McKenna, Jordan Ann, Aiden Evans, Kevin Whitehead, Brady Singh, Robert Scott. Congratulations. You may be seated. I'd like to welcome Dr. Johnson back to the podium.
It is an honor to be presenting my first 6th grade class. Sophia Melfi, Alyssa Moxley, Avery Hogue, Jaden Volantad, Nicholas Papandrew, Madeline George, Cole Jackson, Caitlin Muldock, Brianna Perry, Cameron Coyne, Blake Pigeon, Nicholas DeVito, Mason Ciliano, Mackenzie DeMuzio, and Jeanette Lamkaor. Congratulations, you guys may be seated. I'd like to welcome Mrs. Amwick back to the podium.
It has been an absolute pleasure having each and every one of you this year in class. I'm so proud of all of you, and I'm really going to miss you. Just remember, find your passion and go conquer it. I'm honored to present my class. Jalen Johnson, Aaliyah Garcia, Nicholas Gargani, Elizabeth Booth, Sophia Mahia, Olivia George, Alexandria Saran, Addison Nadas, Vivian Palladino, Anthony Wiederspan, Catherine Coulter, Caitlin Larson, Hayden Berger, Braden DeAngelis, Jaden White, and Malaysia Day. Congratulations, class. You may now be seated. I'd like to welcome Mr. Shetley and Mrs. DeCrane back to the podium.
Well, this year has been very different for all of us, and we feel very, very grateful to have worked with all of you, and we wish you nothing but happiness and success in all that you choose to do in the future. I'd now like to start with Riley Lincoln, Trent Weaver, Harrison Byrne, Violet LaValle, Carly Brown, Sarah Aber, Adam McBoosh, William Finn, Ember Sparks, Elisiana Willis, Wyatt Turk, and Dylan Moss. Congratulations. You may now be seated. We'd now like to introduce Mrs. Gill and Mrs. Hughes.
Mrs. Hughes and I are very proud of all of your accomplishments this year. You will all truly be missed. Always remember to work hard in everything you do. It is my honor to introduce our class. Avion Warfield, Olivia Wessel, Chloe Stites, Cecilia Kettinger, Justin Russo, Connor Doughton, Mark Copenhafer, Liliana Hadife, Anita Balashova, Wyatt Donnelly, Enzo D'Alfonso, Nathaniel Gassis, Kenzie McConnell, and Robert Zullo. Congratulations, boys and girls. You may now be seated. I'd like to welcome back Mrs. Crispin to the podium.
I am honored to present my class of virtual learners who have all truly risen to the challenge of virtual learning this year. I'm very proud of all of you. Michelle Odisami, Savannah Watts, Elizabeth Trackman, Lillian Heyman, Olivia Polk, Garrett Duganitz, Donovan Wright, Samantha Stahl, Ava Abate, Isabella Polk, Christian Thomas, Carter Baldessaro, and those who were not able to join us tonight, Janaea Bowers, Ilamano, Sherry Ann Mazumder. Congratulations. You may now be seated. I'd like to welcome Mrs. Moyer and Mrs. Croge back to the podium.
It has been my pleasure to have your children as my students this year. Whether you remain virtual for the year or return to in person, as I've told my students for the last 26 years, once my kid, always my kid. Remember, there's no place like home, and to stay gold. With much pride, I present my final 6th grade homeroom. Tyreek Washington, Allison Slaughter, Anthony Marciante, Angelina Mills, Eva Leone, Keely Stallings, Chase Duran, Sire Cooper Campbell, Frankie Alessandrini and Chloe DeSalvio were unable to join us this evening, and they are missed. Congratulations.
I also feel very honored to present my first homeroom and my last virtual homeroom students. Princess Bailey, Brian Shaw, Jaden Brokenbaugh, Ethan Bartolucci, and Emily Cummings. Congratulations, students. You may now be seated. I'd like to welcome Mr. Collins and Mrs. Heckert back to the podium.
Hello, kids. I would like to introduce our first sixth grade class. We couldn't have asked for a better sixth grade class, and we're truly blessed to have each and every one of you. I only wish that we had had the whole year of you together, so I will stop talking now. All right. I would like to introduce first Cole Beckman, Emily Williams, Shayla Joyce is not with us tonight, Julia Revak, Carter Niederman, Gavin Duganitz, the quiet kid, Emily Stock, Ava Wilzinski, Violet Woodland, DeAndre Champ Michael, Lily Culling, Julian Rivera, Helena Holman, Mikhail Khan, Coral Rupp, and Garrett Angelo. Congratulations. You may now be seated, and I'd like to welcome Mrs. Shorter back to the podium.
Thank you, everyone. Before we present the students, we ask that you please wait until all students rise and our final musical selection is finished before you greet them on the blacktop. Please do not forget that all special award winners, Harrison Westcott, Addison Nodis, Isabella Bregler, Dylan Moss, Brianna Perry, Riley Lincoln, Jace Yashemsky, Kenzie McConnell, Garrett Angelo, Eva Leone, Nicholas Sheehan, David Carter, Wyatt Donnelly, Braden DeAngelis, Avery Hogue, Christian Thomas, Julia Boughton, and Michelle Odasami. Please stop at the table over to the side of the blacktop to get your special award. And all virtual learners, please stop at the other table to make sure that you get your diploma and any other certificates and awards. Students, remember, you have risen to the occasion and overcome so much. You can do anything you set out to do. Just like the banner says, some have a story. We made history. Congratulations again. To everyone here, as always, thank you for being our partners in learning. And at this time, it is our pleasure to present to you the class of 2021. Congratulations, 2021. You may come up and greet your children. They are off to middle school, but we do have 2 days of school left. Yes. They are on their way, but we're not ready to let go yet. Thank you, everyone.